Dear students, in this session, if you discuss about the abstract data type operator categories. So what is meant by abstract data type? Abstract data type, normally you just say for data type means data type refers to the domain of values. Domain of value means if you are declaring for a particular type. So based on a set of operation can be performed for data type. You just go for abstract data type means it should be provides only the operations. It provides the only the operations, hiding the implementation details. This is called a abstract data type. You just go for in between operators. What are the main role means abstract data types? You just consider for particular application, particular specification, particular implementation. These are a logic you have to follow for abstract data. You just go for operator means operators you have to consider for four categories only. You just go for first type constructors. So normally you just say for constructor, a constructor is an operations that creates a new instance. So you have to create a new method. That's mean for you have to convert it for objects of an abstract data type. It is almost always invoked at the language level by some sort of declaration. This is the logic you have to declare, otherwise you just created for new method. These are all we are discussed about the constructor. You have to creating a new object. This is a logic construct. You just go for transformer second type. Transformer also if you say for mutators, that's mean for mediators. You just say for mutator, the transformers or operations that change the state of one or more of the data values, such as inserting an item into an object. Next you just consider deleting an item from the objects or making an object empty. So in a method you have to follow me transformers. You have to create a change the one or more data values. Otherwise you just inserting the values. Otherwise you have to deleting the value. Otherwise what are the deleting values, you just making a particular objects will be for empty. This method also if you are declared. Another way, an operation that takes a two objects and that will be merges them into a third object is a binary transformer. Binary transformer. You have to already for binary values you have to consider zeros and ones. You have to transform for value for one or otherwise zero. This is the logic also. Transformer you have to declare. You just go for third level observers. An observer is an operation that allows us to observe the state of one or more data values without changing them. You didn't for as an observer, you didn't change for anything. One or more data values without any changing. Observer come in several forms. You just say for several forms you have to create a. That's mean for predicate. Predicate predicates that ask if a certain property is true means the accessor or selector. You just say for accessor or selector functions that return a copy of an item in the objects. You have to predicate means you have to capture in a particular property if it is correct way. That means you have to accessing a function return a copy of an particular item. Then you just go for another form for summary functions. Summary functions that return a information about the object about the object object as a whole. So next function you have to declare for Boolean function. Boolean function you know something for just true or false. A Boolean function that returns a true if an object is empty and false if it is contain a components is an example of a predicate. A function that returns a copy of the last item put into the structure is an example of an accessor function. Next point, you just go for a function that returns a number of items in the structure is a summary functions. Okay, you just go for in a last type, fourth type, iterators. Iterator, you are declaring for a particular operations that allows a process of all components. how many process you have to execute. That's mean for first iteration, second iteration, up to for n iterations you just declare. So you have to n iteration you are declaring for sequentially. That's why you are declaring for data structure for sequentially. That's mean for linearly. You are order wise. So normally you just say for data structure, storing and accessing, manipulating in data. That data will be for sequentially you have stored. That's mean for, yeah, executor first iteration means, but you have a 10th iteration you have to execute. That means you just go for first iteration, second iteration, third, fourth, fifth, up to ninth you have to complete or then only you go for move on to the 10th iteration. That will be for you have to declaring for sequentially. After that you just go for operation that print the items in a list are written for successive list items or iterators. Iterators are only define a structured data types. Structured data type. I means you have to sequentially you have to use. So this is the logic if you have to study it in a abstract data type operator categories. Totally you have a 4 types. You just go for first type you have constructor. Second type you have to declare for transformer. Transformer also if you just say for mutators, and then you just go for observer. Observer also you have to declare for many forms. What all the several forms you have to follow. You have to followed by predicate function and then for summary functions. So without changing for anything you have to use in a observer. Okay, you just go for next. In between for transformer, what are the things you have to using? You have to using for one or more data values you have used. Otherwise you have to inserting a values also use. Otherwise you are deleting objects also using. You are making for in case if your object will be empty also you have to use. This is the second type you have to follow. You just go for fourth type also iteration. Iteration you have to declaring for sequentially. Yeah, data structure all the processing of components will be for sequentially. This is the logic you have to study. Thank you. Remaining topic if you are discussing in your next class.